This video is sponsored by Ritual. I personally have always salted my eggs in the middle of cooking them. I cook them slowly, finish them with some nice butter to keep them nice and glossy and moist, and I think they're usually great. Never had a problem, no one's ever complained about my scrambled eggs. But does salting the eggs ahead of time make them better? And if so, how much better does it make them? That's the question I want to answer here today from my own knowledge, and hopefully you find some value out of that. So if that sounds good, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not already, and let's just jump right into it. Now I've heard two schools of thought here. Some people will say salting ahead of time, that makes them like grayish or something, or tightens them up, makes them tough. Other people claim that salting them ahead of time is the way to go, makes them more tender. It's a classic internet debate, leaves a lot of people confused, not knowing what's really the answer. However, according to author Harold McGee, he claims that salting an egg prior to cooking, along with adding an acid to it, like a lemon, allows the egg proteins to kind of cluster together at a lower temperature, aka cooking them faster at a lower heat. But at the same time, not allowing those clusters to get too close together, meaning makes the eggs more tender. That's cool, and that sounds great. But I'm not gonna start adding lemon to my eggs in the morning. That's an additional flavor that I'm not really looking to add. Which then takes the question, how do you like your eggs cooked? When I had my food truck, we used to serve eggs in the morning, and you would be surprised at how many people asked for their eggs well done. Some people just wanted them like burnt. They didn't like the idea of it being somewhat wet at all. On the other hand, you have somebody like a Gordon Ramsay who's famous for a method of making a soft scrambled egg where the curds are small and broken up and it's really creamy and soft. I lie somewhere in the middle. I don't like it too soft and I don't want it dry, so I kind of like a little bit of texture. A scrambled egg I can kind of fork, but still is buttery and moist and flavored well. So today we're gonna assume there's no right or wrong way to cook eggs other than how you like them, but for this exercise, I'm cooking them how I like them. So to test this out, we're gonna make 3 batches of scrambled eggs, each batch with 3 eggs. The first 2 batches, we're gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt to them. One of them, we're gonna add the salt prior to cooking, the other, we're gonna add it during. The third batch, we're not gonna add any salt at all. Each batch also is going to have a tablespoon of cubed up butter that we're gonna add at the end to finish the eggs, and then a couple knobs of butter for the inside of the pan to cook the eggs initially. But before we jump into this experiment, I gotta take my vitamins real quick. Thanks to our sponsor today, Ritual. You know, sometimes when we're trying our best to eat kale salads and green juices and all the stuff we're supposed to eat, we still might not be getting the key nutrients that our body needs from food alone. Ritual's multivitamins are made from clean, vegan-friendly sources with key nutrients your body often lacks, filling in the gaps to our diets without any shady extras. It's made from high-quality nutrients that are sustainable and traceable, so you always know what nutrients you're taking and where they come from, all thanks to their one-of-a-kind visible supply chain. And in the past, I've been really weary of taking lots of vitamins because I would always get nauseous if I hadn't eaten any food before taking them. But Ritual capsules are delayed release, so they dissolve later and in less sensitive areas of the GI tract, so they can be taken with food or without. And best of all, the multivitamins are shipped straight to your door each month with free shipping. And if you don't love your Ritual vitamins in the first month, they'll refund your first order, no problem. And if that's not good enough, when you visit ritual.com/NACS and you use the promo code NACS, or you click the link down in the description, Ritual is gonna give you 10% off your first 3 months of multivitamins. So just expand that box below the video and click the link and get started on your new multivitamin Ritual today. Thank you, Ritual, for sponsoring this video. So here I have my 3 bowls of eggs. My preferred egg cracking method is this Italian grandma style where you smash 2 eggs together and magically and mysteriously only 1 egg will crack. I find it to be pretty amazing. I'm gonna add salt to one of them and beat it, and the other 2 I'll beat but won't add salt to. Now I'm just gonna measure out another 1/4 teaspoon of the salt for the second batch. Now let's head on over to the stove. I don't have 3 nonstick pans, so I'm just gonna cook them in batches. The first batch we're gonna try is the eggs that were already salted. And we're just gonna follow my method for cooking scrambled eggs, which is by preheating a pan on medium heat, not too high, not too low. Add a touch of butter, swirl it around the pan to get it melted, and then add the scrambled eggs, and let that sit there for a few seconds until the edges begin to set. And then pull the set eggs from the outside of the pan to the center and swirl the pan around again to spread the raw eggs out on the pan, sort of like a crepe. Then repeat those steps until the eggs are about 70% cooked. At that point, you're gonna kill the heat and then work in that cold butter and let the residual heat from the pan melt the butter and finish cooking the eggs very gently. When they're perfect, you get those out of the pan, and then we're gonna repeat with the next batch where I cook it exactly the same way. The only difference is I'm gonna add salt at the same time I work in that butter. And then the final batch gets the same exact treatment except no salt at all, just the butter. Okay, as you can see, these have been sitting for, this one's been sitting for 10 minutes. It's not dry, still moist, but a fork holds to it. To me, that's an ideal scrambled egg. Let's give it a try. Fluffy, tender, seasoned, rich with the butteriness. It's delicious. No question about it, top of the line scrambled eggs. Now let's try how I normally make it. Flavor-wise, they're basically exactly the same. The texture is almost like more custardy when you salt before. My method, you can fork the same way, but when you salt it before, it definitely has a better texture to it than mine do. And then of course, that's the least favorite one. There's no salt. And even if you add salt afterwards, which you never do with food, you never salt it afterwards. It's a real fake kind of salting. It's just not the same. It's not as full flavored as something like this. Okay, out of the 3, the eggs that were salted, when you beat them, yielded a better texture of an egg. But I'm definitely going to change the way I make my scrambled eggs. If you want scrambled eggs that are fluffy, moist, seasoned well, but have texture and structure and can stick to a fork, but don't ever dry out. I'll leave a link down in the description to my method and a recipe for this. As you can see, this is the one I just gravitated towards. Clearly the best one. Anyway, that's all that I have today. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care of yourself and go feed yourself.